Hello everyone. So first we are going to just quickly recapitulate what we talked about in lesson 4.2, which talked about ethics versus laws and integrity versus compliance. So we did see that both ethics and laws are important, both go hand in hand, and both have their own frameworks, both have their own clauses. And then integrity versus compliance, that how things happen, how things take place, and how integral can a person be, and how compliance or statutory things can work. And today's talk is about professional competence with character. So, how professionally competent are we, and what character do we require to possess all that? Professional competence with character refers to the ideal state where an individual not only possesses the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform their job effectively, competence that is, but also consistently demonstrates strong moral and ethical qualities in their professional conduct or character. So, when we talk about professional competence, we talk about what character we have, whether an individual possesses the necessary skill, the necessary requisite, or the ability to be at a certain workplace to perform a certain duty or responsibility which is given to that person very effectively, very efficiently, with good results, with good output. Also looking into consistent factor of it, that it is running parallel alongside, which is leveling alongside, and there is scarcely a low side to it. It's mostly on the high, but yes, consistently would mean that it is on a regular pattern of growth. Let's see what professional competence looks like. This is the ethical and intellectual capability required for a specific role or profession that it encompasses. So, what all do we require to be working at a place where things can run well, how things can run well, what we can do to make things run well? So, the very first of it is knowledge, understanding the theories, facts, and principles relevant to the field. So, understanding the theories means theories which are actually associated with the job that you are in, facts which are a basic know how to whichever job profile you are in, principles relevant to the skill that you are required to use while you are at the job. Skills, the practical ability to apply that knowledge to perform the task. Knowledge most of us have, but how we practically apply it is often missing. So, the experience of it, the practical wisdom gained from past performance and problem solving. So, do we have any hands on experience, any practical correlational wisdom that we have acquired during any past project that has been related to the skill we are working on? Do we have that to make it happen, to make it work, to make it successful? Abilities, innate talents, inbuilt talents, and developed proficiencies that enable effective performance. Something that helps us to do better, that helps us to strive better, that helps us to deal correctly with everything that we are doing. Abilities, innate talents and developed proficiencies that enable effective performance. Continuous learning, the commitment to staying updated with advancements and best practices in one's field. So, what is continuous learning? The commitment that we make to ourselves, we make to our workplace, that we are going to stay updated with the various advancements, with the technological enhancement that is happening, with the practices that are happening to give our empty number of profitability. Let's look at examples of professional competence. A software developer who can write efficient, bug free code in multiple programming languages. So any software developer who can write an efficient program obviously is skilled at his or her job. A financial analyst who can accurately interpret complex market data and provide sound investment advice. So, a financial analyst needs to be very well aware of the ongoing market trends, has to be very well aware of the totality of the profit and the loss and the credibility of the company, and how you're supposed to make an investment, whether it will give you benefit out of it or it won't, or whether it will go into a slump. So he has to be aware. It has to be according to the skill and the knowledge of the related field. A marketing professional who can consistently develop successful campaigns that drive sales. So, a marketing professional has to have a good market study of where, of how, of whom, of what, the product, the sellability, the target market, and how it's going to be accepted, how it is going to be utilized. So, again, the skill and the knowledge will come in handy. A teacher who effectively imparts knowledge and fosters a stimulating learning environment for their students. So, a teacher who has sufficient knowledge, relevant knowledge, and can guide the students into a better perspective, which can provide a learning environment, learning environment which is compatible, which is comprehensive, which helps the children to grow and to learn, to enhance, which makes them good individuals, is basically competence. Let's look at the character aspect of it. This refers to the moral and ethical qualities that define a person and guide their behavior in a professional context. It includes integrity, we have been talking about it, being honest, truthful, and upholding strong moral principles even when it is difficult. Even when it is difficult means when times are trying, when we are unable to live up to our expectations, but we still do. Accountability, taking responsibility for one's actions, how we conduct ourselves, how we make decisions, what are our choices, and their consequences. What happens once we are upholding our values? What happens when we take responsibility for our actions? What happens when we decide to do something and the repercussion of it? Responsibility, fulfilling duties and obligations diligently and reliably. So there is a certain framework that we need to work on. Are we working according to it? Are we doing it very dutifully? Are we following everything? And are we reliable about it? Respect, treating colleagues, clients, and stakeholders with dignity, fairness, and consideration. So, all these are very basic human values, but sometimes they are inherent, sometimes they are acquired. So, both the times that they are there are very important and are very necessary for us to execute, like treating colleagues and clients with dignity, and as we give it out we receive it back also, fairness, and so is consideration. Let's take a quick look at examples and treat for employees from all entry level staff to executive with equal respect and consideration. Now, what is the example that entails this particular detail? A project manager who takes ownership when a project goes off track. He is basically responsible, though not directly, but yes, since he is the in charge, he is responsible for whatever is happening that falls under him, whether it is human, whether it is mechanical, whether it is technical, rather than blaming the team, and works to find solutions. So here the blame game chapter is all done and closed. He will rather look for a solution instead of blaming somebody else. He would rather look for something which is going to put things right than put him and his team let down and disheartened. The next is a journalist who refuses to publish a sensational but unverified story. A story which could be baseless, which could not be true, which could not hold good, prioritizing accuracy and ethical reporting. So the journalist chooses to be ethical, chooses to be truthful, so that the news that he is publishing is justifiable, is not all wrong, and people don't question, and there are no negative consequences about it. So what is the synergy then? What is the equation then? Why are both crucial? Professional competence without character can be dangerous. So, if we are professionally very qualified but we don't know how to conduct ourselves, it is going to be dicey. A highly skilled but unethical individual can misuse their abilities for personal gain. So, if we are very, very skilled but we do not have a moral compass, we do not follow any ethics, it can get us into trouble. And why the trouble? We want to gain monetarily, we want to harm others, there is a ego clash, or damage an organizational's reputation. Why? Just to keep a grudge if something had gone wrong priorly, just to put the organization down, just to straighten up the records with them, just to even it out. We do all that. But that is very, very uncalling and consequential, yes. Think of a brilliant hacker who uses their skills for cybercrime, or a highly competent executive who engages in corporate fraud. Is it ethical? No, it isn't. Does it fall beyond the moral compass? Yes, it does fall beyond the moral compass. Now that person must not have been directed into the right direction by the conscious at that point in time and delve into doing something which was very uncalled for. But yes, obviously, it is what we send out, we do get back, and it will be certainly consequential. So, with that, we end the lesson 4.3. What we talked about today was professional competence with character. Now, do we think that being a professional alone or being skilled alone makes a difference? Or is it that the ethical value or the moral value that we possess works in tandem with it? So, I think it is for you to decide and for you to judge, though you have read everything and known everything. So I'm sure all of you also will decide to have a good professional character and also have ethical and moral values in place so that you can live well, you can sleep with a light head and have a prosperous life. Thank you.